Hi there, friend. Today I'm going to be talking about medical PTSD and the cleft journey. For those of us who were born with a cleft, we are all too familiar with hospitals, doctor's offices, and dentist offices. And many of us have one form or another of medical PTSD from all of those experiences. Many of those procedures, having been done before we could even say our first word, left us with little to no input on our care and how we were treated. So much of what we go through as kids living with a cleft is done to us, and it's not something that's negotiable. We do need our palates closed. We do need our lips repaired. And both of those procedures are medically necessary so that we can fully function with our ability to eat and even our ability to breathe without struggle. And I do believe that many people think, because many of the procedures are done when we're so young, that we won't have any memory of it. I see often in some of the Facebook support groups where people talk about how, oh, your baby is so young, they won't remember. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we do. It would be impossible for us not to. For me, my medical PTSD comes out with the dentist. Although for many years, just walking into a hospital and smelling that hospital smell would make me nauseous. The dentist office is where I have a really hard time. Just last week, I had to go in for the final appointment for a permanent crown, and even though I knew what to expect, and I knew how long it was going to take, and I knew that I had to get Novocaine shots for numbing the area, the moment I sat down in that dentist chair, I was 8 years old again. I became that little girl who would panic at just the sight of the dental tools and the big bright light shining over my head. The little girl who would cry and become so anxious that I would get sick to my stomach. And last week was no different, especially with the 2 Novocaine shots I had to get in the roof of my mouth. If you ever have had one of those, you know how awful they can be. But for me and many other cleft kids, we have a lot of scar tissue on our upper palate, and that just makes those shots even worse. And even at my age of 45, and with all of my understanding of why I was doing these dental appointments, that little girl is still there, upset and frustrated at all that she has to do because she was born with a cleft. I know it's not going to get any easier for me with a dentist. I've accepted this as my reaction. And thankfully, I have a wonderful dentist who is patient, takes his time, and listens to me when I need a break. Even though I have a very supportive dentist, that wasn't always the case. And so I've had to develop skills to help me regulate my emotions when I'm having to go see the dentist. And I'm going to be sharing 3 tips with you that you can do for yourself or share with your child to help them get through some of those appointments where they may be feeling more anxious, nervous, and scared. The first thing that I do is I make sure that I have my earbuds and my phone with me so that I can listen to music. Music is something that I have found throughout my life that can really help me through any kind of moment, and I'm guessing that you and your child are probably the same. So there's nothing wrong with taking your phone on Spotify, Pandora, whatever it is that you listen to, and bring that along. Most dentists do not care. If you have any questions, of course, ask them. But it's something that you can do that can help take your mind off of what is happening. The second thing I do is I pay attention to my breathing. When we're nervous, scared, we can tend to breathe very shallowly. But what we want to try to do is breathe from our tummies, breathe from down low. So I work with paying attention to my breath, nice, slow, controlled breaths in and out. And the third thing that I do is I pay attention to my body. I don't know about you, about 5-10 minutes into a dentist appointment, I notice that my shoulders start creeping up, and I tend to come into the posture of completely trying to close up. So one thing I have to do for myself is tell myself, okay, relax your shoulders, relax your arms, relax your legs. And this is something I have to do over and over because it never fails. 5-10 more minutes later, and up come my shoulders again, getting tense, I'm getting tight. So pay attention to your body and talk to yourself. Relax those muscles. There are lots of guided meditations that you could download that can help you with that. And last but not least, talk to your dentist. If you're a parent of a cleft-affected child, you need to be their advocate and you need to talk to the professionals in their lives. One of the things that I wished I would have had is for various doctors and especially dentists talk to me, not me or around me, or like I'm not even in the room, or like I'm just a case to be worked on and not a real person. Doesn't matter if your child is 7 or 17, they're people too, and they need to be considered because this is something that is happening to them. So, talk to your doctors, make sure that they are on board with being patient, being gentle, including your child as much as possible in the explanation of what's going to be happening and asking your child what it is that they need. Do they want to know what's happening step by step? Do they want to bring their favorite stuffy or a blanket or music? Find that out and then work with your medical teams to make that happen. There's so much that we can do to help improve our situation and have a little bit more control over what is happening to us. Because, like I said at the top, all these things are medically necessary for our ability to thrive and function throughout our entire life because the cleft journey doesn't stop with the final surgery. So I'll continue to do what I need to do for my health, but I will also continue to be kind, passionate, and understanding to that little 8-year-old girl who just wishes she never had to go back. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.